Is it Roland? I think this special prosecutor, he be like the good people. Because how many people he want to prosecute? And he just come out with this report. Not report we want. Just prosecute that people and we kill them. Simple. Always. This man stole our money, 280 million Ghana cedis, and this one stole 100. It's something we don't need. Just prosecute these people and kill them. Simple. Look at the Madame Cecilia, the bad case. Still up to now, nobody hear what is going on for the Madame Cecilia, the bad case. Nobody is here about the former finance minister, Keno Ferrata. And you declare Keno Ferrata wanted. So when you declare Keno Ferrata wanted, it's still in abroad, living with a good life. So what kind of life is that?
He's getting medical attention from the reports that we have received and from the statements that he has issued. He's getting medical attention.
What kind of medical attention? They should bring him. They should let the Interpol bring the Keno Ferrata into this council and we prosecute the Keno Ferrata. People lose trust in the OSP. People lose trust in OSP because he is always coming out with the different reports. The reports did not work. We just want to the President John Dramani Mama, if special prosecutor knew that he can work, they should remove the special prosecutor. And Dominic Aputinga Ayine, he should also do his best. And we proceed the corrupt people and jail them and they collect the money for the country. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Thank you very much.
All right, Alaji, thank you for calling. You can also call us. Let us know your thoughts on this matter. On our Facebook live feed, you can drop a comment in the feed just below, and we'll read them live on the show.
All right, so we have a couple of messages, and well, so I read this one. Tell Roland that the OSP is armed fully, just like any police and investigative entity. You should not project inaccurate information that the OSP is not police. I haven't said that. I didn't say that what he did was wrong. I only said that he shouldn't be doing that. And please inform him, OSP is a police, prosecutor, asset recovery and prevention of corruption office. And Markshots, you don't cover their faces, but has TV3 not put up faces of several people standing trial? Okay. And then also I have this one from Mejina. Mejina says, this morning I want to be very clear. The Office of the Special Prosecutor must bite harder than it is doing now. We didn't set up the OSP to issue press statements and disappear. We created it to investigate, to prosecute, and to act without fear or favor. But what are we saying? High-profile cases begin with noise and end in silence. Investigations drag on for months without closure. Mejina sending us that as well. And, okay, so Prince Nani York, watching us from the UK, says, good morning to all of you. The oral cases, ideally, must not travel more than 6 months. If the person is guilty and all evidence has been collected, then the case must not end there. We're seeing that Ghanaians voted for oral, and those undertaking the prosecution should try as much as possible to also aspire to reflect what Ghanaians voted for. Do we have another caller? No.
Okay.
All right.
Let me just read a couple messages before we go back onto the phone lines. I see some of your messages coming in, and they keep repeating it because we are not reading them. And so here we go. Good morning, Na. This morning, the corruption under the leadership of Dr. Hamid Mustafa at the NPA was so incredible and unprecedented and ridiculous. However, I, Aziz, have communicated for the NDC for the past 15 years, and I still can't get a job from my party. I'm jobless after working day and night for this party. His Excellency John Mahama, your appointees are frustrating some of us and have come to your aid. Oh, you have to come to our aid. All right, let's talk to this caller now. Hello? Hello, are you there? All right, I think we lost that caller there, but we have to cross over now to Johnny Hughes, who's on standby with Johnny's Bite.
You shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday, the 18th of July, 2025. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. And Juma Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters across the world, here in Ghana, in Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Let me say also a big thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale, 0246-590162, 0246-590162, and your dial is 3FM 92.7. We're live on your radio, we are on Facebook, and also we are on YouTube as well, and we're on TuneIn, and you can listen to us and watch us everywhere you go. It's very, very important that you do so. Now, at the beginning of the week, I broached a subject matter about the quality of food that we ingest into our bodies and how that eventually goes to affect us. I had done that because a study by the National Health Insurance Authority and our Korean friends had indicated that more than 30% of adults either have high blood pressure, they are inching towards diabetes, amputations, and stroke, and all those other things, and they may not even be aware that they are part of this more than 30%, almost 40% of adults living in this country who may have that situation. And just yesterday, I was discussing with somebody how pear or avocado is in season, how orange is constantly around us, how banana is around us. We have pear, we have watermelon, we have mango, we have pawpaw, we have all these fruits and all these vegetables around us, carrot, cabbage, lettuce. We have all, look, we are not in short supply of these things. But the problem is that we do not eat. And we do not eat these things not because we cannot afford them. We just do not eat them because most of the time we forget, or most of the time we ignore these fruit sellers and these fruits and vegetables. So somebody would go through the whole day, have breakfast, have lunch, have supper, and they wouldn't have added a fruit or a vegetable to what they are taking. Their lunch, yes, if they go and eat some fufu or banku or something somewhere, they may have, but I've seen people, at eateries, they bring the grilled tilapia, they would have put some onions and some tomatoes and some green pepper or whatever it is on it, and then they slide everything onto the side and they just go straight to the tilapia. I've seen people where the omelette is being fried for them or the egg is being done for them, and they instruct the person frying the egg, menfa jeni inkaho, menfa ntos inkaho, menfa shwe inkaho, chinkosuane pema me, kenoko no kwa kafita eke sabola aka womi, kamo aka womi, shiwo ro pe ahami. And there are people who are, just packing their bodies with carbohydrates. Very basic stuff that good regenerative health. And perhaps if we had allowed this, our community health planning system, the CHIP compound, if we had allowed it to grow to become, grow into family hospitals where you have the profit. Because one professional I spoke to said, look, we don't need to bring in some more people and pay them some more money, because the people that would have used for the CHIP compounds to have migrated them from where they are to that level, where they could be family doctors and the family health system that would help, at the grassroots. They already are on the payroll. So we don't need to come and bring them some more money. And I'm sure next week we'll talk extensively about that. How that CHIP compound, system has been made to be stagnated at some point. We will talk about it. Your intake of water, what does it look like? Your intake, as an individual, your intake of water, do you take into cognizance the volumes of water that you consume on a daily basis? Do you need to be overly thirsty before you drink water, or do you sip and go as the day runs by? Do you sip and go? All these things are very necessary. The children are learning from the adults. Somebody goes through the whole day and the only amount of water they would have drunk will be one sachet or one small bottle of water, and that's it. So me, I don't like water. Your body is largely made of water. So you should like water. You should drink water because water is life. Water is medicine in itself. Water helps to make sure that your life is made easier. So you should drink water. That's the first part of my sermon. Now take me to the Volta region, Ketu South to be specific. I told the people of Ketu South that, I told them this more than a month ago, that there's good news coming your way. And after I had the pleasure of revisiting Agaveji, Amutinu, Salakope, and all those other places, I had the opportunity to go to the places and I saw the extent of the damage.
1, 2, 3! I want the energy here. 1, 2, 3! Again!
The love is out there. Some will hate you, some will love you, but keep being you. And so we went out there and you could see clearly the devastation that had happened along the coast. The good news is that the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, will be in that part of the country tomorrow to cut short so that the sea defense wall, which was abandoned for many, many years, will now see completion. The sea defense wall, which was abandoned for whatever reason, whether the people do not vote for a certain tradition, or the people are not part of Ghana, or the people are not considered worthy to receive care and affection and love from the state, that sea defense wall is coming back. They're coming to build it. And I took these images, I told you earlier, when 3 Foundation, under the Media General, a big umbrella, went to that part of the country to go and donate some items, some food items, some medical supplies, and some used clothing, and some cash, which we had, collaborated with you, our viewers, to be kind benefactors to them. And your munificence showed. It showed very well. So tomorrow, the president will be there. President John Mahama will be there. It's on Saturday, the 19th of July. Agaveji, Ketu South is at 1 p.m. He will not be there alone. The Honorable Abdulhameed Gomashi, Member of Parliament for the area, Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, will be there. Honorable Nicholas Walaklachi is the MCE who will be there. Honorable James Gunu is the Regional Minister, he will be there. And they will also have Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J, Minister for Works and Housing. They will all be there tomorrow. So when I told you here more than a month ago that good news cometh forth for the people of Ketu South, I wasn't bragging. Here we don't brag. Here we have good information that we give out. And so the people of Ketu South, rejoice. Help cometh. Rejoice. Help cometh. Rejoice. Help cometh. And help has come. Now, I will go to the DVLA shortly, but first let me talk about some of the ministers. And in this country where you have people who belong to unions and associations and they don't trust their leadership, but they trust Johnny Hughes, and they would come to Johnny Hughes with their issues even though they don't pay their dues to Johnny Hughes. It tells you that there's a problem somewhere. And I've said that if you're a union leader and your people do not find solace in you to come to you with their issues, but they form splinter groups and they form other small groups and they start talking to pressmen like Johnny Hughes, you need to sit down well. Yesterday I said that some people have paid for land. They are paid for lands. Their lands have not been given to them, but they are busy singing praises. They know themselves. They are the same people who have now come back to me and talking to me about their lands. But they should go back to their union leaders and talk about their lands, because they have paid for their lands, but the lands are not coming to them. They know themselves. To whom it may concern. But let me talk about the ministers. Some of the ministers in this administration and some of the appointees in this administration, according to your own supporters and according to some business people, are beginning to turn your ministries and your offices into family compound houses. So that when a businessman or a party person comes to you to say, oh, I have this idea, that idea, to say, go and see my sister, go and see my brother, go and see my cousin. The people saw your cousin, but they came to you. Suddenly, with the benefit of power, they should go and see your cousin, they should go and see your brother. In some of the cases, there are contracts that have been signed already that have to be continued. The previous government signed those contracts. The contracts have not been audited to say that there's some wrongdoing that happened. So the contract has to continue because it has a total and overall benefit for the country. So go and see my cousin, go and see my sister, go and see my brother. Those of you who do that, you know yourselves. And very soon I'll be naming and shaming here. Here we name and shame. So this is just caution to you. If you are part of that group, desist from it. Your appointment was not given to you to make your place a family compound house. No. Your appointment, your government campaign against family and friends. No. When in the opposition, you campaign against family and friends. So why do you get into power and enhance family and friends culture to the point of turning your offices into a big family compound house? They are asking me to ask you. So I am asking you. Let me say good morning to our friends at GRA. I have a full list of those who are supposed to be on retirement. So I have your GRA number, GRA 00 so and so. I have your full names. I have your date of birth. I have when you entered the GRA and I have when you have to exit the GRA. I have that list right from January down to December. I will attach the photos to it because some of your colleagues have gone home, but some of you have decided that you are staying at the office. And it's not just GRA, it cuts across many other institutions. I'm going to reactivate the let the retirees go and let the young grow again. It must not be that in a country where we have employment opportunities, we tell young people that there are no jobs and old people can find jobs. People who have gone on retirement, they have eaten salt, tasted salt, and for a long time, they tell the young people that they cannot find jobs. It doesn't make sense. One of the reasons that got this government into power was the fact that we're going to create jobs. So I ask, the reset agenda, does it include a place like GRA? I'm asking the government, Chief of Staff, Dr. Mahama, Mr. Julius Debra, President Mahama, Professor Nana Jenopokwa-Jiman, and all the people who work at the top. The reset agenda, does it exclude GRA? And all the other places where you have retirees holding on to positions like apostle, mampamistic behavior. Does it exclude them? And I'm not sure that you will pretend that you do not know that there are people who have gone past the age of retirement who are still holding on to jobs. If you pretend that you don't know, maybe they may be favorites of yours, or they may be allies of yours, or friends of yours, or friends of friends of yours. We will put their images and their names and everything here. And that culture where when you talk about a certain state institution, either they say, oh, we will sue you, either we will do this, we wait. The state institutions are run with our taxes, the people's taxes. The definition of democracy is government for the people, by the people. It belongs to us, first of all, before we gave that power. If you read our constitution, power emanates from the people, we the people of Ghana. In exercise of our inalienable right, we the people of Ghana, we decided that we have the power, but we will give the power to you. So when you get the power, you don't lord it over us, no. And you don't threaten people, no. If it's time for you to go, you bow out nicely and go. There are people in this country who have risen to the very top. They do nice pull-out ceremonies for them. They do nice, bowing out ceremony, whatever ceremony it is. People go nicely. Why has it gotten to your turn and you don't want to go? Are you part of the principalities and powers that Dr. Bawumia spoke about back then? Oh, certainly then you are part. Because you have gotten to the point where you have to bow out in a very dignified manner. Because so long as you remain there and your name is on the list of retirees, you may be taking your pension benefits and you are also taking extra money. What kind of evil spirit is that? What kind of evil spirit is that? Take me to the DVLA. Let's take the sermon to the quarters of the DVLA. The DVLA yesterday wrote a press release. Logas, good morning to you, Mr. Nikwe. It says, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, announces availability of driver licenses for collection. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority is pleased to announce that it has successfully cleared the backlog of driver license applications for the year 2024, which stood at 266,866 licenses. Furthermore, the authority has printed a total of 77,659 licenses for the year 2025, representing applications from January to April 30, 2025. Out of the 77,659 licenses printed for 2025, 51,614 have been distributed to the various DVLA offices across the country for collection. The remaining 26,045 licenses are undergoing lamination and will be delivered to the various offices shortly. In total, DVLA has distributed 318,480 licenses to our offices nationwide for collection by our clients. The authority further wishes to inform our cherished clients that some of the customer data captured for 2022 and 2023 have had some challenges, some of which may require biodata recapture. These recaptures will be done at no additional cost to the applicant. The authority invites all applicants who have not received their licenses to visit the nearest DVLA office for assistance. DVLA apologizes for any inconvenience caused and by the backlog and appreciates the patience and understanding of our valued clients. To ensure a smooth process, applicants are advised to work directly with DVLA staff for any necessary recapture or resolution of issues. For further information, please contact the DVLA offices nearest to you or the customer service center on 0302 746 760. That's 0302 746 760, issued by management. DVLA, your safety are concerned. And I had to read this because it's a public service announcement. We'll go to the quarters of the OSP shortly. But there's a truck stuck under the bridge. The video is not mine. I saw it on social media. I've forgotten exactly where, but it doesn't belong to us. This is a regular feature. It is chiseling the bridge. It is destroying the bridge. And we spend a lot of money constructing this. If this bridge is affected, it affects the N1. And we watch people overload their trucks. And most of these trucks are foreign trucks. They may be heading towards Burkina Faso. And we allow this to happen. We have police MTTD at every junction. You see why I told you that deployment of people onto the streets or to an area that has to receive security is not security in itself. The numbers of people, if you deploy in numbers, body presence, it doesn't necessarily connote security. Because this man should not have even been allowed to leave the port to begin with. The Tema port. There's a soldier man at the helm of affairs at the port. When you go to the port, there's NIB, there are NIB officers. When you go to the port, there are GRA Customs Division, and good morning to the GRA Customs Division boss. Are you a retiree, sir? Or you can explain. Okay. Now, there are policemen there. There are immigration officers there. Everybody who matters, the military officers there. How is it that this vehicle was allowed to move? And you see, because when it starts, pause the video. When it hits, just go and then pause it. You would see look at underneath the bridge. So this is not the first time. It has been there over and over and over and over again, chiseling the bridge bit by bit, and we are all watching. We are all looking on. You can see the iron rods sticking out. It is just a matter of time. How much do these guys even pay for us to allow them to destroy everything that we have built? They destroy our road because if you look at the weight, if it is destroying the bridge, it means that the road underneath the track is also suffering. So you drive on our roads and it looks like, as they say in Gagon Kejo, hills and valleys on a road that is supposed to be smooth. Already some of our contractors, they do us in by not constructing the road to the, to the best of their ability and to the best quality that the world can talk about. And then we allow for people to destroy this. Whoever the driver is and whoever gave the permit for the person to leave the timber port, all of them should be lined up and punished severely. This is akin to galamsey. This is akin to armed robbery. This is akin to state capture, raping the state. This is akin to the highest form of crime that can be done against the people. Now, can you pause and imagine for a second if this bridge is no longer functional and for some time the bridge has to be closed? Can you imagine the inconvenience and the traffic situation that will happen? Because this connects straight to the Kaswa, Weja area, Men's Chrome, all those La Paz. It connects that bridge. And the indication is there right at before you get to the bridge. The indication is there as to what height is allowable. But we consistently leave it and we allow. Why? Why? Take me to the OSP's quarters. Now, there have been concerns about whether or not the OSP, in taking this mark shot, put it up there, should have showed the faces of the people or not. The OSP is asset recovery, is investigative, is police, is corruption and corruption-related, blah, 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 organization. That's what the OSP insists that they are. So they took a photo. Mustafa AbdulHameed, Sheikh Dr. Alhaj, Jacob Kwamina Amwa, Wendy Newman, Albert Ankra, Isaac Mensah, Bright Bediako Mensah, and Kweku Abuajiakwa. Their photos have been put there. People are asking questions. Let's go to Nigeria, EFCC. In Nigeria, this is what they do. They are like economic and organized crime, SFO, serial fraud office as we had it back then. Now, this is what they do in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they have actually printed the boards and left spaces there. Put it up there. And then they show the faces of the people. They will clean it and then use the marker to write. This is what they do in Nigeria. This is their version of their own Markshots. So what is the international standard? Do you cover the faces of the people or do you leave it? This is Nigeria. Next door, Nigeria. Now, take me to Abuchi. There's an Obroni one. This is also a Markshot, right? So the question is our OSP doing anything wrong? Or is our OSP doing something that's right? Or is our OSP overdoing itself? Or is the OSP just following what the international standards are? I'll leave it to your good judgment. No, I'll just leave it to your good judgment. We are the same people who say we want the OSP to work. We are the same people who says we want results from the OSP. And then we are the same people who will complain at every step when the OSP takes a decision. I spoke to somebody yesterday and I said, look, if you listen to the amounts of monies that have been quoted, national service scandal, over 500 million. This one, over 280 million. If you listen to the amounts of monies that are being quoted that just a small group of people are alleged to have taken and kept for themselves. We're told that in the NSS thing, people say, they will return the money. It gets the people angry that, so you knew that what you were doing was wrong and you want to return the money. Then we should all take the money. Shut up, give me 2 minutes. Let's read this one because this is in response to the OSP. Yesterday, the OSP put out something. The lawyers for Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed have also put out this one. So it is only fair that we give them the same prominence that we give the OSP. This is from their lawyers, right? Hay and Partners at Law, legal practitioners. Press release. OSP charges Mustafa AbdulHameed, 9 others in 280 million Ghana cedis. We have taken note of a daily graphic front page story. Mustafa AbdulHameed, 9 others charged for extorting 280 million Ghana cedis from oil companies, and a press release from the Office of the Special Prosecutor on the same matter regarding our client Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed, former Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority. We wish to state that, as at the time of issuing this press release, our client has not been charged before any court of competent jurisdiction. We are yet to cite any charge sheet. However, we wish to make the following statement based on the press release. 1, that our client denies all the allegations against him contained in the said publication and press release. 2, that our client is ready to contest all the allegations in the court of law and defend his good name. 3, that we note that the OSP in February 2025 said in a press conference that our client was under investigation for alleged embezzlement of 1.3 billion Ghana cedis from the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF. 4, that in a letter dated 17 February 2025, our client wrote to the special prosecutor demanding a retraction of that defamatory publication, a retraction that never came. 5, that our client was subsequently invited to the OSP on 25th of February 2025 and questioned over allegations of mismanagement of the UPPF and procurement breaches. 6, that we further note that the allegations has now changed from 1, embezzlement from the UPPF, 2, mismanagement of the UPPF, 3, procurement breaches to the current one, which is extortion of funds from unnamed victims, and that the amount involved in the allegations against our client has also changed from 1.3 billion Ghana cedis to 280 million Ghana cedis. 7, that our client, who is alleged to have initiated the alleged extortion scheme, directly received 24 million Ghana cedis out of the 280 million Ghana cedis he is purported to have masterminded. 8, that our client categorically denies initiating or being involved in any extortion scheme, either directly or indirectly, in any form or manner, and further denies receiving any personal benefit from any such alleged extortion. 9, that in the nearly 4 years that our client was in charge of NPA, he served the nation with utmost integrity and competence. 10, that in fact, the internet is replete with positive testimonies from industry players of our client's sterling leadership of the NPA. 11, that indeed his tenure, as supported by official financial records, including audited reports from the NPA, show unprecedented financial growth over the 4 years. 12, that the NPA has 4 main accounts, namely UPPF, PDM, PPMS, and operational account. It is worth noting that when our client took office in 2021, the 4 accounts had the following balances. UPPF has 53,216,549. PDM had 18,411,166 Ghana cedis. PPMS had 20,070,000 Ghana cedis, 421 Ghana cedis. Now, operational account had 53,333,402 Ghana cedis. As at 31st December 2024, the respective account balances had all grown exponentially as follows. UPPF had 1,144,429,000. PDM had 470 million, 671,174. PPMS had 90,749,255 Ghana cedis. An operational account had 237,928,890. Our client has displayed high integrity and competence throughout his tenure, in public life, and our client is fully prepared to contest any charges leveled against him, and he is confident that the truth of his innocence shall prevail. Let's see who signed this one quickly before we wrap up. That is Hanifa Yahya Esquire, and he is representing Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed, Sheikh Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed. So we have done justice. We'll head from the left, we head from the right. Here ends the sermon on Johnny's Bite. We'll see you on Monday. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Good morning.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now. Hey, is that you? Impruka. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Freddy Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso. Tum preko.
Mommy, I finished bathing.
Well done, my student. Daddy, I can see that the bath brings well.
Yes, see how refreshed Kobe is looking.
Together, we will show the whole world the true way of germ protection.
The Camel way.
Eliminates 99.9% of germs. Camel cleans, cares, and protects.
What's better than your bestie? A bestie with blockbusters and bedtime cartoons. GoTV streams your fave soaps, sports, and the loudest laughs. No extra charge, just internet connection. Your shows, your vibes, your anytime, anywhere bestie. GoTV Stream. Download it now.
In uncertain times, it can be hard to imagine yourself completing the SEMA professional qualification. But with our new digital-first learning and assessment platform, you can. The CGMA Finance Leadership Programme, or FLP, gives you control over your study progress. The CGMA FLP is a remote-based, self-paced learning platform that lets you qualify from home with online assessments and study support.
For the past 20 years, the Spirit of God inspired me and led me to take prayer to North America.
I cannot describe it. It's indescribable.
Recently, the Spirit of God inspired me that it is time to bring it back to Africa. It's time to bring it back home.
A global move is about to hit Ghana.
I came
come here today with something prophetic. That the heaven must open. Lord,
I stand on the anointing and I prophesy, break forth, break out of your boundary
by divine authority.
Global Prayer Work Summit. The world gathers in Accra to pray at the Prayer Cathedral Action Chapel International on Thursday, July 17th and Friday, July 18th at 9 a.m., 2 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. And on Saturday, July 19th at 7 a.m. for Morning Glory, at 9 a.m. 2 breakout sessions, leadership breakfast for ministry leaders and pastors, and the Next Gen Youth Empowerment session on self-transformation with Honorable Samuel Nate George and Honorable Francis Asensio Boachi. Soak deep worship from Joe Metal and Sandra Boachi Dria. Don't miss this divine moment. Remember, this is a free event. Don't miss your time and your spot. Register today and seal your seat in at gpwsummit.org.
I worked very hard, earned a lot of money, but all my proceeds from the business kept going to my lady. I gave her 110,000 cedis for her to start up her own salon. Just then she disappeared. Then one day she comes back crying and begging, asking me to take her back.
Why is she calling for a meeting? Why is she asking that let me give you closure?
This is a good result of a prolonged emotional and psychological distress.
When something is a challenge or a problem, it means there's the lack of solution, and that if you seek for the solution, you would find it.
Sometimes knowing what you have done is killing you by itself.
Confessions shows every Friday at 9 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by
upon the gold and the diamond, the bucks and the oil, we stood the beg for dough. Africa rich, we not be poor. Corruption just they make them so. Upon the gold and the diamond, the bucks and the oil, we stood the beg for food. Now everything may fall apart. Politicians they lie without be fat. Them go to fill them my bellies, their family, then leaving the poor to suffer die. Promises for promises. After your vote, them believe your promises. I just see the remedies. All these years come alive, became images. Yeah, more roads in hospitals. They would fly to Europe for health issues. They would use one hand and taxes to show them my girls, them barbecues. Mama Africa, eh? Mama Africa, eh? Mama Africa, eh? Mama Africa, eh? Yaro yara, wonso no yara. Yaro yara, wonso mo jini babi yara. Yaro yara, wonso mi yara. Yaro yara, Mama Africa de Bio yara. Rise up my country.
It's time for a big issue here on the New Day. A lot to talk about this morning. We'll be focusing on two main issues. First has to do with the issues surrounding the National Petroleum Authority. As you may be aware, the former CEO has been charged alongside 9 others. There are companies also amongst the accused persons as well. We'll be touching on that subject matter. We'll also look at issues relating to the NPP conference that is taking place tomorrow as well. We'll touch on that briefly. And joining me in the studio to help me with the discussion this morning, Abraham Amaliba is a legal practitioner and member of the National Democratic Congress and also Director General of the National Road Safety Authority. It's not in its typical African way today. What's the story, Abi?
The story? The last time I was here,
And after the program, we went to the car park. Then my senior brother challenged me that I don't have this type of dress. So I decided to wear it and come and show him.
I see.
Truth will always set you free.
Okay, so you heard him talk about senior brother, that is Kwame Jantua.
The cap fits, let him wear it.
Okay.
I didn't mention your name, but you know you are the one.
To be fair, yes, he didn't mention his name. But next
to the most senior here. You are the most senior.
So that is Kwame Jantua next to AB as well. Kwame Jantua is a legal practitioner, energy analyst, also with the Convention People's Party. And after Kwame Jantua, next is Ebo Bachman. Ebo Bachman supports the best team on the face of the earth, apart from Barcelona, apart from Kotoko.
Apart from Abonte. You didn't allow me to give him my comment.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, when they say, good morning to our viewers, when they say Nkrumah never dies, it's true.
Okay.
Huh? Look at the tourism list that has come out in terms of the top tourist area in Ghana. It's the what? Mausoleum.
Okay.
He never dies. So when we say it, let them listen.
Let me add that Kwame Jantua is a member of Nkrumah's own party, the Convention People's Party.
But you said it.
But you see,
emphasize it. It's very important.
But you see, that is very true. Because anytime I go out and I introduce myself as a Ghanaian, the first person they talk about is Nkrumah. You know. But those who are also astute in football, the first person they ask me about is Abedi Pele. Then there was somebody who asked about Tony Yeboah.
Okay.
Then they come to Jan. Samoa Jan, yes. So
what have we done to these individuals who have moved the country forward? Do you hear anything about Abedi Pele? Have we done anything to show him recognition? No. Why?
I mean, these are more or less like permanent ambassadors of the country.
Permanent ambassadors.
Flag high all the time. Ebo Bachman is Senior Communicator Movement for Change, economic and financial analyst as well. Ebo, it's always good to see you.
Yes, yeah.
Your team, they can't sign players. They don't have money or they can't.
But sir,
what's happening?
Actually, I don't understand. I was expecting Rashford to be signed.
After the Ghanaian snubbed you guys, Nico Williams.
Actually, that one, the guy didn't try at all. But you know, my team, the best team,
Dwarfs.
Abonte.
Okay.
Ebusia Dwarfs. Even though we are struggling.
Are they in the Premier League?
we are struggling, but you see, let me use this opportunity to double down on something that I said last week concerning how people have encroached Academy of Christ the King SHS land in Cape Coast.
Okay.
I think either the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, Lands Commission, or the Mayor of Cape Coast and the Traditional Council, they have to make sure that those encroaching on those lands, I mean, around Academy of Christ the King, to the extent that someone has even put up a pub just at the gate of the school. And some of these things, I don't think we should allow to continue to happen to these schools. Some of the big schools they've walled their schools. The ones that are coming up are struggling, maybe financially, to ward their schools. That doesn't mean people should take advantage of that. So Robert Reynolds, the headmaster, is a friend, and he's doing all that he could to protect the land. But the encroachers, some of them, I'm told, are even sub-chiefs. Some of the encroachers are sub-chiefs, and some of these things, you need to nip them in the bud.
Next to Ebo is Dr. James Kwabena Bomfe, CEO of Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems. Most of you will know him as Kabila. In this time that GTech is all active and everything, I mean, we know that your PhD is in development studies, that's correct?
He's proper PhD.
Okay, not the ones that have got GTech running around the place. Do you have any comment on this point?
No. I have no comment on that.
What's the nickname these days? Do you still stick to Kabila? I realized Uncle was calling you something else.
Oh, that is something we share.
I see.
It's not a nickname. It's something we share between us.
I see. But it's good to have you.
I'm happy to be here after some time. As I listen to my friends and senior colleagues on the set, you know, one thing that I was asking myself was in mind. how have we, by our lives and our conduct, honored the names we have mentioned here?
Yeah.
Kwame Nkrumah, Abedi Pele. It's not just about word, but by deed. There is no better way to honor people than to show by example that we understand them and that we adore the example that they lead. It's sickening that in this country we tend to be very casual and sometimes trivial about important and serious issues. We need to be very careful, and I was saying off air to your producer that maybe we need to conduct a study to find out the impact that such morning shows over time is having on our socio-economic development as a people. Do we just come and say things and that's the end of it? How is it impacting? And how consistent have panelists who come on this been on critical issues of our socio-economic development? Well, there seems to be too much of the talking and less of the doing in terms of the principles of nation building, of truth, of sincerity, of hard work, of dedication, of sincerity and honest performance of our duties imposed upon us by our maker and our nation. How transparent, how responsible, how accountable, and how much serviceable are we as the anchors of our Constitution 1992 require of us. So it's an invitation that we should attempt to be citizens, citizens worthy of the calling into the Ghanaian fellowship.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's Doc there with the admonition and the theoretical point he's making. I think I agree totally with the point you've made, particularly. Yeah, that's why I correctly identified him as Doc, so that we can all tag along as and when. But let's zoom in right on the main issue of discussion, the first issue surrounding the National Petroleum Authority. Yesterday, very early in the morning, we got a statement from the Office of Special Prosecutor indicating that, well, Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed, the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, has been charged offenses relating to money laundering, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and also extortion by public officer, alongside 9 others. And we are being told that there is a scheme that was implemented at the NPA geared at extorting money from industry players. And we are told that more than 200 million cedis was extorted, and the money, we are told, 24 million directly paid to AbdulHameed between January and December of 2024, with an additional 227 million channeled through Newman, another accused person, under Amoy's direction for further disbursement. And so there's also another director, Osei Tutu, a director of the 9th accused company, that is the Kel Logistics Limited, that the OSP said is at large. A bit later on into the day, there was a statement that was issued by the former CEO of the NPA, basically denying the allegations by the Office of Special Prosecutor. And for those who joined the show a bit earlier on, you saw Johnny go through that entire statement there, basically saying that what the OSP is saying is not true. In fact, the lawyers trace series of what they believe to be changes in the nature of the accusation that has been put out by the OSP. And I draw attention to, if you look at paragraph 6 of that statement, it makes the point that we further note that the allegation has now changed from 1, embezzlement from the UPPF, to mismanagement of the UPPF, and 3, procurement breaches, to the current one, which is extortion of funds from unnamed victims, and the amount involved in the allegations against our client has also changed from 1.3 billion to 280 million cedis. They go on to make the point about the state of the NPA when Mustafa AbdulHameed took over and when he exited office. And they make the point that, look, at the time he took office, the UPPF, for instance, had about 53 million. As at the time he exited office, more than 1 billion cedis was in that particular account. And they make reference to other accounts. And they make the point that he has displayed high integrity, competence throughout his entire public life, and our client is fully prepared to contest any charges leveled against him, and is confident that the truth of his innocence shall prevail. And so that is what the lawyers for Mustafa AbdulHameed put out there. Now, Shortly after that statement was put out, we saw on social media an update from the OSP saying that, well, there's a date for the court hearing to take place now, and this time around publishing what a lot of us see mostly in movies, the Markshots of the accused persons, and that in itself has also generated some discussions around the social media particularly, and even earlier on the show we had some of you call into the discussion to share your views on that. I mean, it's the first time we are seeing that put out in that manner by the OSP. You know, in times past they do publish images of individuals who are declared wanted. At this time around, what we see in other jurisdictions and also on in the movies particularly, Markshots. So you see the individuals, they're holding the tags with their names on it, Mustafa AbdulHameed, and the other accused persons holding that. I want to show you what we see in Ghana with the police service. The police service, this is just recent. We just went through their recent, and just yesterday, this is what the police service put out there. It's a photograph of accused suspects, really. I mean, individuals who have been arrested for posing as Ghana Gold Board task force members, and you see the police cover their faces. I'll show you another one of other individuals who have been convicted. So this one is a person, 2 armed robbers, convicted and sentenced. So you see the difference with what the police do here. When a person is convicted, they take off the face and they let you see the face now. It's already, some of you are drawing parallels between the two. I've seen some of you also make the point that, well, we the media, when we go out and we capture accused persons being moved from court and everything, we show their faces anyways. And some of you have also said to us that, look, it's only the Juvenile Act that has specific provisions about how suspects should be treated, and even when they have become accused person, they are in court, being subject to the privacy rules and all of that, and that it does not apply to adults. And so you don't see anything wrong with what the OSP has done. I want to start the conversation from that angle because that is not a substantive issue. We can just clear it up quickly, and I want to start with AB Opsid me, Mr. Maliba. I mean, if because of the work you do, I mean, before coming into your current position now as a lawyer, I mean, if you have a client who has been charged, we've even heard Mustafa Hameed's lawyers say that, well, they, as at the time they were issuing the statement, they have not been served with any documents indicating that charges have been filed. But that notwithstanding, I mean, if you have a client and you wake up in the morning and you see the Markshots of your clients on social media, is that something you have issues with, or you're fine with it?
Let me start by saying good morning to your viewers. Before I tackle the question, let me commend the police administration. Last week we were here and a police officer misconducted himself at the by-elections. I call for the immediate withdrawal of the police officer, and as we are aware, the police administration has so done, withdrawn him from the place, and is instituting disciplinary actions against the police officer. So I want to commend the IGP and his administration. It's not always that we are here bashing the police. When they do something good, we need to commend them. Now, on your substantive question, in criminal law, a suspect is different from an accused person. And an accused person is also different from somebody who has been convicted. So we have suspect, accused, and a convict. All of these have rules that govern their status. So if you are a suspect, that is why the police would cover your face, because you have not yet been presented to court. If you are in court, you are an accused person, but it doesn't mean that you are guilty. So, in this matter, it is possible that the court can arrive at a decision that says that they are not guilty. The question now is, having splashed their pictures, how are you going to undo that? I would have been comfortable if, at the end of the day, the trial, they are convicted, and then now you say these are the ones who have been convicted, because there are even 9. You don't know who will be set free and who will not be set free. And then these are the people going to jail. But at this stage, when you splash their pictures, the question is, when they are set free in court, how are you going to undo that? That's the only thing I have to say. So I'll leave that to the people of Ghana to chew.
Let me come to Doc closer to me, and Doc, I don't know how you process what, I mean, the point we are still staying on just the preliminary issue of the decision by the OSP to publish it. I mean, there are those who say that, well, we see it in other jurisdictions. There's nothing wrong with it putting this out there. Is that a satisfactory explanation for you?
Well, to begin with, I have maintained on other platforms that right from the beginning, I have a problem with the creation of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And it is my contention, even though I have not appeared before the most appropriate platform, which is the Supreme Court, to argue that it was unconstitutionally created, and to the extent of their unconstitutionality, their activities, to a very large extent, may be nullity and void. But that said, they, as we speak now, they are recognized within the public space with all the flowery expectations, sometimes unmeasured in my view, of them. What is at stake currently from your own? One of the persons mentioned as charged before a court has, through his lawyers, told us that no writ of summons has been issued against him in any court. Correct?
Yeah.
We are told by your own output that the OSP, in responding to that, has published their pictures with their name tags as evidence of them being in court. Is that the case? I'm expecting that by now they should have published the writ of summons that was issued against them. In which court?
In fact, let me just read that part of the statement by the lawyers. They say that we wish to state that as at the time of issuing this press statement, our client has not been charged before any court of competent jurisdiction. We are yet to cite any charge sheet. So that is how they started that particular
So I am
statement.
inclined to believe what they are saying, especially with the fact that you started with allegations of investigating them for 1.3 billion Ghana cedis. Your purported charge against them in court, which court we don't know, whether it is the OSP's own created court, and they haven't given you evidence except images of them with their name tags. You are saying it is 280 million involved. 280 million is less than 300 million. Is that correct? So the 1 billion, where is it? Look, you see, I have a problem with the way the OSP is conducting itself in an attempt to justify the existence of that office on our law books and then as a charge of their expenses on the Consolidated Fund of Ghana. I think it's a waste of our money. It's a waste of our money. Clearly, if you look at it, and I'm running on the some legal authorities. Former Supreme Court Judge, Justice J.N.K. Taylor, did an article on that. OSP office and then YOCO or SFO. They exist as unconstitutional offices created, because to have them exist, we need to go through amendments of entrenched provisions, which could only have been possible through a referendum by the people. That hasn't been done. And yet, we are spending on them. So, if it is not about sensationalism and theatricals, what has caused the changes in the allegations against them?
I mean, the response would be that it's an investigative process.
Good.
At the initial level, and again, the OSP, unlike the other agencies, they are required by law to provide periodic updates. We've also said over the period that we want investigators to be transparent.
Yes.
And so they provided information.
Yes.
That information has changed, and that's what they are providing now.
Good. And I'm saying this, we are not talking about information provision, providing information now. We are talking about you presenting people as accused persons in a court of law, which court we are not aware of. Is it not serious enough?
Okay.
And as my brother Abraham said, the impression you have created out there with the name tags and their faces is that they are standing trial. Correct? That's the impression we are told. Accused. And as he rightly pointed out, the court can disagree with you. And as we have seen, if indeed there happen or there is to be a charge against them in a competent court of jurisdiction, they are going to contest. Now, if their contestation succeeds, what it means is that all that you have put out about them will fail or will come to none. Okay. I would only plead with the OSP, unconstitutional as I think their office is, having been allowed and Ghanaians acquiescing through parliamentary practice. We allowed an act of parliament to be passed, and that's where they are operating from. They should be patient and diligently do their law or their work. And I will advise, if anyone is charged by them, because I think that they are exercising the powers of Article 88, which is solely that of the Attorney General, which is an entrenched provision and can only be amended through a referendum. And they are also exercising powers of the police without the creation of a new police force, contrary to the law that establishes our police service. I want to challenge anyone who is sent to court by them to run to the Supreme Court and invoke the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court with respect to the constitutionality or otherwise of the OSP to bring some finality to this. And lastly, I want to plead with those who are in the executive office of the Land and Parliament. We should stop this haste to create laws that come to compound and complicate existing laws and also add a burden on the consolidated fund that we are already struggling to fund activities with. Thank you.
Okay. Let me come to Ebo now. And Ebo, still on this preliminary issue of the publication of the Markshots, I mean, where do you stand? I mean, do you have any challenge with that? I mean, we see it all the time outside Ghana particularly.
Yeah. The way I approach things, I ask simple question. Is it within the law? Has he done anything that conflicts any law? I want to believe that the OSP knows what he's doing. He understands the law. And so if indeed it is something that is not against the law, I personally don't have any problem with that. Because when we want to copy, we copy what suits us outside. We make reference to things that suit us. But when it doesn't suit us, we don't want to make reference to. Indeed, in other jurisdictions, as you rightly mentioned, these things are done. And it doesn't mean you are guilty. It doesn't mean you are a thief or you are a criminal. It is for the records that at a point in time, this process was initiated against you. And so I personally don't see any problem, unless somebody can point to one law that has been broken by the OSP in respect of this particular act.
The danger that Kabila speaks of about the fact that, and AB also make reference to the fact that there are a number of accused persons, so you put one single shot out there. At the end of the trial, maybe 2 or 3 of them are cleared. Anytime anyone Googles the name, in any number of years to come, just that single mark shot of everyone that pops up again. The person has been acquitted and discharged.
Okay, the argument is putting all of them together instead of doing them
individually. Even if you do it even individually, it still comes back to the same point that this morning I tried, you Google Mustafa AbdulHameed and it pops up. If even in 5 years to come he's acquitted and discharged, that image would always pop up still.
But as I said, if it contravenes any law, fine. But if it doesn't, and if it is allowed, I don't have any problem. I personally don't have any problem when it comes to the issue of, legal processes, especially criminal cases. Okay. I don't have any problem at all with those cases.
Let me come to Mr. Jantua now. I mean, if it doesn't breach any law, it's fine. It's fine with you as well?
Good morning to our viewers again, and good morning to my fellow brothers on the panel. You know, for me, one of the major things that keep me up at night is court of public prosecution. The case hasn't gone to court, has it?
No.
But we start with the court of public prosecution, and certain perceptions are made in the minds of people because of what the court of public prosecution thinks. You get a certain side saying they are guilty, you get a certain side saying they're not guilty, then the politics now comes in and people are knocking their heads together. I don't understand why we have to do these things in public. In most countries, when these things happen, nobody comments about it. Okay, they bring it, that's it. They don't comment till it goes to court. And it is in the courtroom and the evidence that is brought into the courtroom that people start talking about. Look, for me, the onus, and in criminal law, the burden of proof is on who?
The prosecution.
The prosecution. And they should prove beyond all reasonable doubt. So, yes, they accuse people, and remember, they are innocent until proven guilty. All these people they put out there are innocent till the evidence that is brought to court is going to be able to what? Indict them. And you have a judge. You have the defense. The defense would make sure that they pull out all their strings. They've started, haven't they? So the OSP has brought this out. They also have now brought a letter out. And that court of public prosecution is what I'm saying we shouldn't do. Because all that evidence, you take to court, won't you? All the things you're saying in there, it will be part of your evidence in court. So why do we play it outside? For what? For a particular reason. Especially when it's political. And it continues to create the kind of divide that we do not want in our politics. But the OSP should just make sure that his evidence is solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Get into court with solid evidence that would convince the judge that, yes, the evidence you have brought, these people are guilty. And the laws that you attach to that evidence should be clear. Should be clear, unequivocal, clear. Just make sure that if you are taking somebody to court, you can prove that that person is guilty. But as at this point, as we stand here today, all the, and it says in the letter, alleged. No, be so? It says alleged. It didn't say they've done it, alleged. And you can allege anything. It could be true, it could be false. So the OSP should just make sure that their evidence is watertight and can get a prosecution.
There's a point Kabila made about, he said theatrics. And when that was put out on social media, I've seen people make reference to the Cecilia Dapa matter and how the OSP handled that issue from the onset. Even though some lawyers from the onset had said that, look, this one is not something that you should go into because there's no clear predicate offense like the lawyers would say. But he went through it, he had press conference and everything. And they say that, well, the point you make about he being sure of the evidence, they say that his conduct, how he's handled such similar high-profile public cases, does not inspire confidence. I don't know how you process that criticism.
Inspire confidence in terms of he's winning the cases or he's not winning the cases.
Exactly, either ways. They make the point that there's a lot of talk outside, but when it goes to court eventually, the outcomes are not the very best.
You know where some of these cases are concerned. Political influence is brought to bear. He, the special prosecutor himself, in the Cecilia Dapa case, what did he tell us? Why did he relinquish it to Iyoko? Political pressure comes in. But you see, for me, the key is when you are in a political position, do your work. Do your work. You see, and as I always keep saying, personal interest being put in a political position should stop. Because it happens. It's happened in MPP, it's happened in NDC in the last 30 years. And some will say that, oh, that is very difficult to handle. Why is it difficult to handle? And maybe we pretend to pay political people we've put in places a salary. And opportunities come and they use it in a different way. Look, and Ebi, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't the Constitution indicate that there are certain people who shouldn't be given certain positions in government. Huh?
And they are convicted.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. What happens? So the system should be sanitized. We should look, you see, the system in Ghana is what is creating a lot of these challenges we're having. And somebody should say, it stops here. President Mahama should be able to say, it stops here. Let's go into the system and see what is wrong with our system that creates challenges for us. And let's all come together and pinpoint those areas that create challenges for us. Otherwise, the court of public opinion would always rule. And that court of public opinion sometimes doesn't help.
Okay.
A case is a case. Evidence, prove the evidence that the person is guilty. Kabila has gone to steal a goat. He is guilty of stealing the goat. He said he's not guilty of stealing the goat. Show the evidence that he stole the goat. Simple. If you can't show the evidence, don't put it out in public for public opinion. Oh, Kabila, what do you know? It's wrong. It's very wrong. So we have to clear the system. And from time immemorial, we don't seem to want to clear the system. And from one government to the other, that kind of system still goes on. We've got to be bold and say, this is wrong. We need to sanitize and clear the system. Kabila is saying the special prosecutor position is illegal. Let's go into it. Let's see the legality of that position. And if it's illegal, then let's do something about it. If it is not, then let's continue and use it to do what it is meant to do. Special prosecutor, has he been able to convict any political figure of corruption since it happened? Since it was set up? I don't think so. Somebody should tell me. Or maybe it's done on the quiet. Yes, we know that certain evidence has been taken. They've done a number of recoveries and all that kind of. They have had.
Or at least LaBianca comes to mind immediately.
Yes.
I remember LaBianca.
Yes.
I mean, I also remember there's one related to one of these agencies quite recently. They issued a statement.
There are some pluses. There are some pluses in there. There are some pluses in there. But what people are looking for are the heavy bonto ones.
Yeah.
That hey, Chikwami Janto Akoye say okay, say hey.
Okay.
We haven't seen that as yet.
The challenge with the flashing of the photographs is that when at the end of the day you are acquitted and discharged, the implication is that all the allegations that were leveled against you didn't do them. That's the implication when you are acquitted and discharged. Now, like you said, your internet doesn't forget or it keeps long. What happens is that even though you have been acquitted and discharged and you have been told that you've never done those things, you just have to continue explaining away. That's the implication of that type of thing. Because your picture will pop up and you have to be explained away. So that is the disadvantage where you splash the photographs before conviction. And I think if I were a lawyer to any of them, I won't be happy as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just provide this information for the purpose of this conversation. In the last 2 days, as part of the Ghana Legal Information Institute, we held a conference with participants from Tanzania, Kenya, and South Africa, and some of the state actors in the legal framework here in Accra at Kempinski. And one of the issues that came up was this: decisions of courts from the Supreme Court to some of the superior courts of judicature don't get enough publication in real time, and people don't even become aware of them. Yeah. So there's the possibility that, as Abraham was saying, when the decision of the court, that is, if this matter was even before a court, and that's my problem. We are discussing a matter as if it is before a court, which is not. It is not. And that is very disingenuous. And when a proper court sits on this matter and decides, it may even be that the decision of the court will not be as public and as popular as these preparatory or investigative information that has been put out. And that's where the danger is.
Okay.
So the allegation will be in the minds of people and also on the internet that never forgets. And yet the decision to throw out these allegations may never find expression as or currency as this one. And that is why I'm saying, problematic as the OSP office may be, they should be very careful the way they are conducting themselves.
Okay.
The theatricals are too many.
Okay. Let me come back to AB. And AB, in terms of what the OSP has put out so far, I mean, we are told that the first 3 accused persons, they operated a criminal extortion scheme. They unlawfully collected 280.5 million from petroleum transporters and oil marketing companies. We are told the scheme allegedly was initiated by the CEO, Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed, and implemented by Amwa and Newman without any lawful mandate, and that the proceeds were handed over to Mustafa AbdulHameed. We are also told that the other accused persons, in collaboration with a fugitive director of Kel Logistics, created and utilized Propnest Limited, Kel Logistics, and Kins Energy Limited as vehicles for laundering the illicit funds. The funds were used to purchase and construct houses, acquire trucks for an oil distribution business, and build fuel stations, all as part of efforts to conceal and disguise the origin of the criminal proceeds. I mean, the lawyers on the other side, I mean, they've had their say as well. I mean, listening to both sides and what you know so far, in fact, they go a step further to provide accounts, the state of accounts, showing that he performed his role as head of that institution creditably. I mean, is there any reason why people should be worried? I mean, people are saying that, well, there's money in there, he's done a good job.
Akabele, this is one of the difficult topics for me to deal with, because the man at the center of all these accusations is somebody I've eaten with from the same bowl, is somebody I slept with
in the same
hall and the same room. We were together in Casford, University of Cape Coast.
That's right.
I know his son, who also completed the University of Cape Coast.
As SRC president.
And it's a difficult one to find that he's in this situation. In fact, in the University of Cape Coast, when it was allowed for us to form teams in the hall, he formed a team and I was his number 5. I was playing for his team, Ground Fighters. So
I won't comment, don't worry.
It's a difficult one to deal with, this one. But let me be fair. These are allegations. What he needs to do, and I've seen his lawyers already doing that, and I know the lawyer, Hanifa, I know her. What they need to do is to put their best foot forward to defend these allegations. Prosecution would have to show that this is not coming from, or all the monies they are talking about and the properties they are talking about is not coming from the man's income. And that this scheme actually existed. So it is a dicey issue. It's a dicey issue. But the main focus will be on how Mustafa and his co-accused persons will parry this away. Create doubts. Because in criminal prosecutions, anytime there's a doubt, it inures to the benefit of the accused person. So all that they need to do is to punch holes in the prosecution's case. And that, for me, should be their focus. But the prosecution, too, would have to approach the courts with hard, incontrovertible facts, which does not leave room for any other interpretation. So, for instance, did these people who they accuse of extorting money from willingly or voluntarily give her that money? Because extortion means that you were giving out the money not on your own volition. That's extortion.
Yeah.
So the ingredients surrounding the charges will have to be proved by the prosecution. So I think that because this matter is still going to court, when we start hearing the proceedings in court and we come back here, we'll be able to determine which way it will go.
Okay.
But for now, it's an allegation, and I'm happy he will have his day in court. And when he has his day in court, his job is to parry away what the prosecution has put forward. That's all.
Let me come back to Mr. Jantua. Mr. Jantua, because of your experience within the energy space as well, I mean, this in terms of what has been put out so far, potentially the perception within the space, you have someone who headed a regulatory agency, and we have been told that that authority of the regulatory agency is being used to more or less strong-arm players within the space. I mean, the OMCs, one way or the other, they should be worried about some of these things that have been put out in the public domain.
Well, I'm in that domain, and I haven't had any approaches from anybody with regards to paying monies under the table. So it will have to be proven, the companies that have been listed, that it actually happened. And it makes it difficult to comment on because they are all allegations. They are all alleged. The companies would have to prove that it didn't happen. I don't know of that kind of system within the distribution of refined petroleum products in this country, because that's what the MPA regulates. It's part of their mandates to regulate the distribution of refined petroleum products. So I'm not sure, but there could be companies that do that. I don't know at the present moment that is so. So let it go to court and let's see. They have named some petrol companies, distributors, who, and we don't know whether they offered or it was demanded from the participants that have been named in the MPA. So to comment is very difficult because we really don't have facts of the case. We really don't have evidence. What they've put out there are all allegations.
Allegations, yeah.
So let's see. Let it go to court. For me, let's go to court. I mean, the law is in the bosom of the judge.
Okay.
And that means the judge is supposed to be fair after hearing both sides and using the law to support the evidence from both sides. And whether they are guilty or whether they are innocent will be proven on the day.
I mean, there's a point that the lawyers make about the amounts involved. Does that, I mean, trigger any issues for you? I mean, the fact that at the initial stages, he said they're investigating some possible loss, 1.3 billion. And now we are told that the charges have been filed. The monies involved are just, not just, I mean, it's a lot of money, but in the context of comparing it to the 1.3 billion, more than 200 million. I mean,
even if it is one CD and it needs to go to court, let it go to court.
Okay.
I don't see the difference. If money has been illegally handed over under the table and it's one CD, it still has to go to court. It's the court that will determine. Probably we should ask the OSP why the figure has been changed. Maybe they've got fresh evidence to show that it was or it wasn't. But as to whether it is true or it isn't true, let it go to court, because the defense can bring that up in court as part of their evidence, that you accused my clients of what? 1 billion. What made you drop it to 2 point? Give us a reason. The judges, give us a reason why it dropped from 1 billion to 280 something million plus. It's up to the prosecution to prove
I don't think
it.
that is the problem, because like Akable said, it is investigations. So they could have started with a higher figure or low figure, but investigations will reveal the actual amount. That cannot be a contestation.
But the point, no, AB, the point I'm making is that when it comes to court, the defense can use that as a line of questioning.
Oh, but
I hear what you say, but they can use it as a line of questioning. Why did you drop it from 1 billion? Show us the investigation.
I mean, I guess in furtherance of the point you make about raising doubts.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know how that how that can create a dent in the prosecution's case. It is my money. Don't forget the prosecution is the state.
Yeah.
It's my money. Then I thought it was 200,000. in during investigation. In fact, even once the matter is in court, they can amend the charges and amend the figures because they have come upon new evidence. So that is not an issue.
That is why their evidence should be watertight. I keep saying it has to be watertight.
What are we even discussing now? You see, it's a waste of time because there is nothing before any court as we speak. I mean, and we are invited to discuss issues as though somebody is standing trial.
But Kabila, the OSP in the updates.
Who has been served?
Kabila, in the updates they provided.
Where's the writ?
In the updates they provided last night, they said that they've been charged and that they are to appear at the Criminal Division 3 of the High Court on Wednesday, 23rd July 2025.
And the persons
we put out there that the lawyers for the former
they haven't been served.
They have not been served, but what the OSP is saying is that they filed those charges and should
you see, my point is this: these are matters that are best discussed in the most appropriate forum, which is the court. You are not in court. If you are in court, the person you have taken to court is unaware. And the principle of audio ultra partem exists. Here the other side.
But Kabila, there's also
you don't know he's unaware. He is saying he's unaware, but you don't know.
I don't know. No, so I would not take the prosecution side and leave the other side. Okay. So I'm saying that for us to be saved from the needless engagement as to whether this is right or not right, do it at the right forum, which is the court.
I mean, that would be done at the right forum. I mean, there's no doubt.
That's all I would say about it.
But the point is to serve a person. Even this morning, you can serve him.
Yeah, so let them serve them.
Yeah, but Kabila, the point about the public discussion, I mean, there's a public interest element in this. I mean, the fact of the matter is that there's a state regulatory agency involved in all of this. I mean, I see you constantly make the point to suggest that the matter should be left solely to the court. Not, I mean,
you see,
the discussions.
Let me share a personal experience with you, and Kwame will be very much aware of this. I had the privilege to run a political party where we were former comrades. Okay, and in doing my duties as the chief executive of that party, got authorization from the Central Committee, mandated to open accounts, went to open the account, came back to Central Committee, got the processes ratified and shared. The head of the legal committee that I was part in setting up took the matter to court.
This man?
No, not him. Okay? And it was published in the media as if I was guilty of something.
Yes.
If I was not present in the media space to debunk it immediately, it was gaining currency.
What a public opinion.
Eventually, the same people ran to court when I put up my spirited defense that we should come out of court to settle. And eventually the Council of Elders came in. But I made sure that the settlement did record the fact that the allegations that they had sent to court were frivolous, vexatious, and had no merit whatsoever. That's my point. Based on my own personal experience with how people can run to, the court with trumped up charges, and eventually if you are not very careful, they will dent your image and you will not have the privilege and the opportunity to respond. That's why I'm very careful about this. All I'm saying is this: the OSP, questionable as I think that office is, it is mandated to work as a state agency. They are required to go to the court of law to go and put up their evidence and prove beyond reasonable doubt the charges that they are alleging against these persons.
I mean, there are those who will tell you that, and I'm just looking at the legal professions regulations. It has special responsibilities for prosecutors.
Yeah.
And it makes the point that, well, prosecutors generally are not supposed to make extrajudicial comments, but it makes the point that where the statements are necessary to inform the public of the nature and the extent of the action of the prosecutor, that serve a legitimate law enforcement purpose. And this is Regulation 40 of LI 2423, Legal Professional Conduct and Etiquette Rules 2020.
What I'm saying is that the needful at this point is what should happen in a court.
I mean, that is going to happen, but that
so let it be there.
Stop the OSP from updating the nation.
I'm not asking them to stop updating. I'm only saying that they should act with good faith. They should act even questionable as they are.
In this particular matter, beyond one person saying that, well, our client has not received the charge sheet. What gives you reason to make this point that you think they are not acting in good faith?
What about the 8 others? And this one is because of the person of Dr. Mustafa AbdulHameed.
Yeah, but the question still remains that what is giving you the reason to believe that the OSP is acting in bad faith? What is giving that basis? That grounds.
If I say they should act in good faith, I am not by that automatically saying that they are acting in bad faith.
So as far as
it's an admonition.
As far as you are concerned, have they acted in good faith?
I will not answer that.
That's fine. That's fine. Let me come to Ebu.
Questions.
That's fine. I mean, I think the answer is obvious. Let me come to Ebu now. Ebu, I mean, wrap up for me on this discussion. I mean, with everything that has been put out there, I mean, are you with the Team Kabila that they have to be very cautious?
I think our concern should be whether the action being taken by the OSP is a genuine, step toward anti-corruption or toward accountability, or maybe whether it is also a small screen, to create the illusion of action, as you've always had in the past, that they pretend they are doing something when in actual fact they are doing nothing. For me, that should be the concern. If you see, on the principle of equality before the law, I don't have any sympathy for anyone who is accused before the law. I don't have any sympathy whatsoever for anyone.
Anybody.
Well, why don't you? I mean,
yeah. What I'm saying is that if the man who goes to steal plantain, who is accused of stealing plantain, is taken to court and is dealt with, the man who is also accused of doing something much bigger should also be given the same treatment. So I believe that the OSP should rather, as Nigel said, should rather make sure that the evidence that will be tendered in court will be watertight, so that at the end of the day, some of these things will be nipped in the bud. You see, my concern is that we have a legal system that is very weak and manipulable. Because if you check, in the past, politicians have always had their way when it comes to the manipulation of our legal system and processes. That is why our processes, some of these things, instead of being treated like a sprint, are being treated as endless marathons. So they will go and go and go, and when their party comes to power, they are freed. That has been the style. And I'm saying that if that is how we are going to handle politicians, I mean, I don't think it's fair to those who steal goat and they are put behind bars. So I'm just pleading with the OSP that this time around we don't want a situation where you go and hit the brick and you have to come back. Make sure before you go to court, you have solid evidence. And if what he's put out there is anything to go by, I think we need to cross our fingers, hoping that at the end of the day, the truth or the facts will come out to know who has done what and who has not done what.
Okay.
I am under intense pressure to correct something by lawyers. I just received a text. Kabila, they say you said writ of summons, not
the charge sheet. Yeah, the charge sheet.
When it comes to civil matters, yes, writ of summons.
Okay.
But criminal is criminal summons or criminal charges. So they want me to distinguish that.
Okay, that's fine.
And you see, one other thing is that, you see, people are losing confidence. People in our legal system. Because, there's this culture that has crept, let me say, it's not creepy, it has already crept into our body politic, where we charge and we abandon. This culture of charge and abandon is also something that is causing people to lose confidence in our system. There are a lot of cases, if you remember, I don't remember this PPA boss.
Yeah.
What has come of it?
Contract
what has come of it?
Yeah.
That is why they will always find a way to manipulate the system, to delay the system. Yeah. I don't think criminal cases should travel beyond 1 year. I don't think so. Criminal cases, corruption cases should not travel. Within 1 year, you should be able to know whether the person did it or the person did not do it.
Ebo, that is dangerous if you consider the fact that when in criminal matters, it's a defendant's court. When a person is standing accused, that person must mobilize all the defenses.
But the point he makes is about it cannot be right that criminal trials will take more than 4 years.
Wait, but this is what I'm saying. Yeah. When you go to court, when you are going to court with a charge against someone, the criminal summons that Abraham just talked about, you are going with your claims.
Yeah.
the person is entitled to a defense.
Yes, he's entitled to it.
And that person must mobilize every means available to him or her to defend.
But the point I'm making is that you should fast track criminal cases.
But I don't think he suggests if there's as we are sacrificing it as against going against justice. Just to benefit and balance the interest of everyone. Well, I mean, we'll leave it at that now. I mean, the point needs to be made quite emphatically that under our laws, a person is presumed innocent, and so that is the starting point until proven guilty. And let me do some of the messages that have come so far. This one here says, this one here from Kwablavi from Pokwase says, the Office of Special Prosecutor should properly investigate former MPA boss Mustafa AbdulHameed about his involvement in the 280 million extortion case. He must be jailed if it is true that he extorted such an amount of money here. And another one here from Prince Henry Koforidua. He said, for me, I am against the publication of their pictures without covering their faces. Apart from that, I have nothing against the special prosecutor. The special prosecutor must be more action-oriented and stop the media prosecution. Some few lawyers around the space too, you've sent some messages about the comments. I think Kabila's point earlier about the police needing, about whether an alternate force of the police have been created. You've made some comments in that respect as well in relation to the OSP, the point that you made as well. And so that is it by way of some of the comments that have come out. We'll leave it at this for now. I mean, this is a topical issue. I'm sure as and when there are more developments. But the date to look out for is the 23rd of July, where the arraignment will take place. Then the charges will formally be read against these accused persons. They'll have the chance to enter a plea, whether guilty or not guilty. Then afterwards, we'll see what would happen there. So that is it by way of our first discussion. I think one more message here. Musa Abatwa from Asawasi, you're saying that I don't expect Kabila or any NPP member to agree with the OSP. No, the way he uses Kabila or any NPP member with emphasis on any public opinion. Before I read the message, are you still a member of the CPP?
I quit partisan politics in 2020, September.
So Musa Abatwa
by seizing my membership of the CPP deliberately, but I remain Nkrumahist. But Nkrumahist philosophy goes beyond any party.
Yes. However, the office of the OSP has every right to charge any individual found to have misappropriated public funds. Those accused of extorting 280,000 should rather prepare to defend themselves with evidence in court. Well, it's the prosecution that has to prove. It's unfair for the same people who claim the OSP is inactive to now turn around and accuse him of talking too much when he gives updates. The OSP must be allowed to do his job without undue interference or double standards. Accountability should not be selective. That is Musa Abatwa in Asawase. And then our first discussion now. And I want to start our second discussion. I'll start from Kabila, right? Next to me, the issue surrounding the MPP, the conference is taking place tomorrow. Already, it's not been a smooth process leading to this conference. I mean, first we saw a story about an application that has been filed by two individuals seeking to halt that particular conference from taking place. We've heard one of the individuals behind that rate come out to say that, well, I didn't instruct the lawyers to issue this particular rate. So, I mean, in terms of some of the issues that were in that particular rate of summons, the MPP plans to hold a National Delegates Conference on the 19th of July 2025 without holding the required constituency and regional conference, without properly notifying constituency executive committees at least 1 month prior. So those are some of the issues that are contained in there. In the build up to this particular conference too, another major issue of concern has been whether it should be postponed. We heard a suggestion that the two former presidents had made a request for postponement. We saw a statement from the office of the immediate past president, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, saying that, well, he had not made any such request. Nonetheless, we've heard Nana Kumia, a leading member of the NPP, say that the request for postponement came from the quarters of former President John Agyekum Kufuor, but the party was unable to accede to that request. He says, I do not think it is possible that President Kufuor would not be invited to meetings of these organs. Former President Kufuor is a member of all of the party's national decision-making bodies, with the primary organ being the steering committee. And I just want to start this discussion with Kabila next to me. And Kabila, due to your experience as running a political party before, I mean, what do you make of where the NPP finds?
Let me share a very peculiar experience with you. And I'm not sure if Kwame will remember this. The CPP at a point had faltered its own constitution by allowing from electoral area officers to national to expire without conducting elections to replace them. And that was this period that I was invited to become the acting general secretary. It was a very, troubling time. So quickly, we put together a program to conduct from electoral area through to constituency to regional offices. We got to the regional contest, having done the lower parts. And then we did a tight program, 14 days to finish 16 regions. We had done a number of constituencies, got to Western region, and then Electoral Commission says they cannot come because somebody had filed an injunction application against that election. On the day, and they brought it, I don't know, but it wasn't brought to my attention. Somebody said they had served somebody, blah, blah, blah. So the EC said they, by their attitude, will not conduct the elections. And so their ballot boxes and other things that had been brought, they took them away. I was forced to run the elections as the electoral officer in charge of it because the Electoral Commission was going to run the elections on our orders. In open pants. I remember this became an issue. You know, running a political party can be very difficult. So I can understand the tight situation the MPP finds itself given the narrative that you have just given. What I would say is that from my experience, we did that and legitimately we were ready to defend it. Surprisingly, this purported injunction application was never heard again after that process. It was just an attempt by some disgruntled members to go and frustrate the attempt to get the party back on track. Anyway, I am out of their domain now, so I will just leave it there without more. What are the questions here? The party has a constitution, and if I recall, within the political party structure, every party has within their constitution a provision that suggests that if you have not exhausted internal avenues to seeking redress, it will amount to a breach of the constitution to jump to the courts. However, those provisions do not oust the fact that political parties are entities within the country and are subject to the national constitution, so that if issues involve the rights of members as Ghanaians, they cannot go outside the political party space and seek redress in the court of law. Not the court of law, not the court of public opinion. So at this point, the key questions would be, one, they claim that some people have gone to court. Have they served it properly on the party? I've heard some response from the party that I think their planning committee that they have not been served. What are the issues? Were the issues before the party? Is the party not paying attention to them? As for the structure and way of doing things, parties reserve the right by the appropriate organs to decide on how to go about them.
How about the point that Nana Kwame admits to, that the former president had asked for an adjournment? I mean, he didn't think it should take place this weekend because he was not available, and he says that, well, the party had already made arrangement for logistics. And this is coming on the back of the former president publicly saying that he feels he's been left out of the affairs of the party. He's not being consulted, and he makes such a request and the party does not grant it.
Which of the former presidents are you
John Ajay Kufuor, because the former president denied.
So,
made such a request.
Well, I hear there are two issues there. I think that former President Kufuor, we have heard him speak publicly when they launched an institute for the party.
Yes.
And he said very deep things for the party and for the nation about the need to do and conduct principled politics. And the fact that if you depart from your principles, you are likely to run into trouble. So as to how they are navigating that, and this is a huge figure in the history of the New Patriotic Party and their forebears, the United Party, the Progress Party, the NLM, the Northern People's Party, the Togoland Congress Party, and all of that. He is the first to have led their tradition into winning general elections in this country in 2000. and form government in 2001, January 7. And he did this on 2 successive terms. In terms of his record, not just because I am privileged to be his son, but as a senior from Prempeh College and also somebody who has demonstrated his tenure is an amiable term in this Fourth Republic that we can attest. So they owe it to him and to the tradition itself to listen to his suggestions and all that. I understand that from the General Secretary, I think Monday, in one of their interviews, he said that they had considered his request to them, but based on other considerations. The body he had made the request to, he was making a request to a body because he knew that whatever he had to say was subject to the conversation or discussion by that body. That body could not agree to all the things that he was requesting. However, they were going to send a delegation to go and meet him and discuss that. I leave that to their internal party arrangement to do. But beyond that, I think the most important thing is that political parties owe it to themselves and the country to understand that they don't just exist to win elections. They are also in existence to help shape the destiny of our country, inform values, and educate our people as to living a certain kind of life that will be worthy of the Ghana we are called into. So I would not want to dwell much on that. And as I told you earlier, with this submission made, I think I can beg leave to be away from the set when you move to my other colleagues.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you very much. Let me come to Ebo now. He had clearly informed us that he had a prior arrangement. Let me come to Ebo now. Ebo, your former party, you have been very critical of the MPP in previous discussions that we have had. What do you make of what is happening in terms of the internal politicking and the attempts to organize this particular conference and the issues surrounding it? The former President Kufuor points that Kabila makes that should raise eyebrows.
Honestly, sometimes I find it difficult to talk about them, about the MPP. But because they are a national party and they can potentially form government again in future, and whatever they do would affect me, I think it is only fair that I say a word or two about them whenever the opportunity comes. In my opinion, I think the party is confused. In my candid opinion, it's like, you see, when somebody gets knocked in a boxing fight, when the person gets up immediately, the person gets confused. Sometimes they don't know whether to go to the ringside or to. They become dazed. And that is what is happening to MPP, because after losing the election, if you check, all the things they've done suggest, it points to the fact that this is a confused party that is suffering from lack of leadership. I've described it as a party, as a headless and a lawless party. That's my description for the current state of the party. Because, you have a constitution. And the constitution prescribes the procedures through which you can have your national conference. You start from the constituency conference. Then you move to the regional conference. Then you come to the national conference. That is what the constitution prescribes. So if at any point in time you think that after humiliatingly losing an election, the best way for you to do is to rush things, to do things differently from what the constitution prescribes. Certainly, it's a mark of confusion that this is a party that has still not recovered from their defeats. And they would have to take their time. I've said it. As for President Kufuor, it is not today that this party has not shown respect to him, even when he was a president. I remember 2000. I've shared this story elsewhere. 2008, when he was a sitting president, something happened, and as Kabila gave his personal experience, let me also share my experience here, so that people will understand why some of these things MPP would have to go through some of these things they are going through. 2008, when we had our primaries, MPP primaries. I contested in Cape Coast, and I was disqualified, together with some other people. So we were about 14 people who were disqualified. So President Kufuor had intel on his table, on his desk, that those 14 constituencies, the party was likely going to lose them, the seats, and also it will affect the presidential vote. So they would have to do a rerun. So a meeting was held at the castle. First meeting, Nana couldn't attend the meeting. Mr. McMahon was there. President Kufuor himself chaired the meeting. Mr. Kojo Mpeni was the secretary to the meeting. Mr. Tadam was there. Odosai was there. Mr. Petalagete was there. Fortunately, my financier at the time, Nana Oku, he used to be the Sanahin of Cape Coast. He was my financier at the time. He was also part of the meeting. I think he was the treasurer of the party when Buzia was the prime minister.
The Progress Party.
The Progress Party. So the first meeting, Nanado was not there. So it was decided that they would have to do rerun. They would have to rerun the 14 constituencies. But because Nanado wasn't there, Mr. McMahon made a point that they should wait for Nanado to come so that he will be part of the decision. So the meeting was rescheduled. Nanado came for the second meeting. Then when Nanado came for the second meeting, it was agreed. All of them agreed. And I mention names because I know what I'm talking about. All of them agreed that the 14 constituencies should be rerun. Then the next day, so Nana Oku, my financier, called me 1 a.m. that I should come to Accra for money to be able to run the primaries in Cape Coast because they are going to do a rerun. Then in the morning, I had a call from one Mr. Obri, who is now a chief. He used to be Nanado's PA. That Nanado says I should meet him in his office the following day at number 16, Ridge. And when I got there, I saw Dr. Ano, who was the treasurer of the party in the Eastern region. He had also been disqualified. I saw Shaba. I saw others. Then we waited for Nanado to come. When he came, he called all of us one by one and said, oh, we should forget about anything, all the things that he's got appointment, about 5,000 appointments. He will give you this appointment, he will give you this appointment. In effect, the decision that was taken, of which he was part, he just took that decision and dumped it in the dustbin. And that is when President Kufuor was the sitting president. So I remember when he couldn't win the first round, and we were going for the second round. President Kufuor sent for me, so I went to see him at the castle. When I went, he had left. So I met Ambassador Dike Osei. The man said something to me I will never forget, and I'll put it on record. He said they had written 3 letters to the campaign, Nana Akufo-Addo's campaign, 3 letters to the campaign, that they should be given the itinerary so that President Kufuor will know the role he will play in it. Not even one of the letters was acknowledged.
I mean, I guess the point you're making is that there's a bit of a history to how...
So I'm saying that it didn't start today. Okay. It is something that had been going on. That is what brought the division. That led to Alan and Ado division in the party, which lingered on for some time, and now we are still having the kind of division and some kind of confusion in the party. So it's a party that has been lawless and that has been headless for a long time, because especially when Nana took over as the strong man of the party, he didn't allow the party structures to work. That is why now that he's not there.
From your own understanding, and that's the final question to you, currently, who is the strong man in the NPP?
No, there's no strong man in NPP now. Because Nado used to be strong man. Now, he's not. I mean, his views are not respected by the party.
You call it PDA, what? P what?
Yeah, PDS. Post-strong man disintegration syndrome. That's what the NPP is suffering. Yes, post-strong man, post-hyphenated. So post-strong man disintegration syndrome. That's what MPP is suffering from. Okay. And so the point is that they would have to take their time. You've lost this election for 49 seats. With this 30, they say 38.2, they say 41, whatever. You've gone down this, you've sunk to this level. And instead of you to take your time and do things properly, you are rushing to even elect your presidential candidate. It's as if the next election is just tomorrow. I mean, it's a clear case of a party that is confused.
Okay.
And if they don't do things properly, I'm telling you, even the 88 seats, it is now 87, right? The 87 seats will even reduce further.
Okay. Let me come to Senior. I mean, there are those who say that power unites, and what is happening in the NPP is simply because they do not have political power now. And then they'll make reference to the fact that before 2016, we all saw the internal wranglings, Kwabena Japan suspended, Samikra, Ponafoko suspended. But all of a sudden, when Nana won the election, we didn't hear much about the internal challenges that the party was experiencing. And they'll say that, well, like you said, it doesn't appear there's a strong man now, but if the party wins the next election, which may be...
But you didn't unity to win the election.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, because, I mean, they had to basically fall on a former member of his party to lead the party into the election. Once they win, the point people will make is that once you get political power, whoever wills it becomes a strong man, and everyone basically is whipped in line. I mean, Mr. Johnson, do you agree with that assessment?
Anybody who is a leader and cannot delegate effectively to work as a team, you fail. It's simple. You can be a leader, you can be a strong man, but that strong man isn't what people expect you to exhibit. They expect you to use that position you have as a strong man to delegate and monitor and make sure that everybody is working according to the plan of the party. Has it happened? I don't remember, and maybe will you be able to tell me, I don't remember in the days of Darocha and Co. such a thing will happen.
Who born dog?
And it's not a question of who born dog, it's a question of having leaders who have institutional memory of their party. Institutional memory of their party. And they can recall on that institutional memory in times like this. Why do you think President Kufuor was saying what he said the other day?
Okay.
Did he not refer to the institutional memory? And wasn't it strange, isn't it strange that no one, and I said it on this platform when they lost, I said on this platform, go back to President Kufuor. At the present moment, he is one of your members who has transcended the entire spectrum of Ghanaian politics. He was 30 when he was made Minister of Foreign Affairs. So he understands it. Go back and sit at his foot and let him teach you. Has it happened? In President Akufo-Addo's tenure, did he, at any given time, consult former President Kufuor? Did we see it? Did we hear it? I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. President Kufuor is my uncle. I go there, we have conversation about parties in Ghana, not only about MPP, CPP, NDC. We have that conversation in terms of how such parties can build a nation. And when you hear some of the things he says about the different parties, instructive.
Okay.
Do they use it? Do they use it? Because you see, one of the major challenges that this MPP tenure is seeing, when I say MPP tenure, from President Akufo-Addo, the major thing is money. Money first before anything. Because really and truly, if it isn't money and machoism and choboy politics, the kind of loss that the MPP had in the last election, they would not even be thinking of a competition for president. They would not be thinking about it because they need to consolidate and put things together before, have a strong party. And I've said, all those people standing, they should lock themselves in the room and assess each one who is likely to win an election. Because look, if President Mahama is able to follow what he's following, get his vision, even if he's able to achieve 50% of his vision, and Ghanaians feel comfortable, it's going to be very difficult to move the NDC out.
Okay.
Look, 79, where was the CPP? Where were they? They are transformed into another group. Who did they? It wasn't even Liman. What did they have? They had strong organizers. They were united. My father used to tell me they used to sit under trees to plan. They brought Liman. Who knew Liman?
Yeah.
Who knew Liman? Yeah. He was actually more on the other side.
With the civil service.
He was more on the UP side than even the CPP side. They brought him. He won an election.
Yeah.
And this is what I keep saying to MPP. The disaster that you've had in the last elections, you need to consolidate and come together. And I keep saying, I'll end on this. Political parties should learn from the CPP as to where we stand today. And as to the different divisions. Ghanaians don't like divisions in their politics. And the MPP should know that. And they should learn from it. Because they've been in abeyance for 30 years before, haven't they?
Yeah.
They should go back and learn that and bring it forward and see how best they can get their party back. Because where they stand today, if we were to go to elections today, zero. They won't get it. They need to build confidence in the people. And if you watch the NDC and how the NDC is going, as they are going about their stuff, they continue to build confidence in the people.
Okay. Let me wrap up with AB, and I'm sure for you in the NDC, from your tower at Adabraka, you must be happy with what you are seeing at Asylum Down.
You see, the happenings in the MPP reminds me of this Nigerian Rastafarian song.
Under pressure.
Under pressure. Nigeria, jaga, jaga. Everything, yanga, yanga. So, what is happening in the MPP now is akin to that music. What is happening in the MPP now is akin to that music. Look, I heard Nana Akumia yesterday, and he said that the reason why they are turning upside down the processes, because they would have gone to constituency conference, regional conference, and then national conference. It's because of the bickering in the position of who becomes flag bearer. How is that a good reason to turn upside down your own processes and what your constitution says? Because as they are doing now, they have actually flouted their constitution. You know. So, if I were to advise the MPP, I would have indicated that they go back to the grassroots and do reorganization of their polling stations, get a solid polling station executives, and then come up.
That has been the...
Because as it is now...
Bottoms up, not top down.
Yes, it's bottom up. Now what is happening? Look, let me tell you. Today, and my brother Janto has said, today. If there's a by-election in Bantama, NDC will win it. Hey, yes. Today, you didn't see what happened to Mahama. When Mahama was in Kumasi 2 days ago, yesterday.
Yeah.
The natives saw how they were, all over the man. And they know that when the NPP was there, Ashanti region was neglected. So, if I were them, in their confused states, they should have rather gone back to the grassroots, strengthen the grassroots, and then come up.
If they take this to advice, you're in trouble.
No, because what they are doing now is going to give advantage to one person.
Okay.
Because these are the executives who were there when Mahmoud Bawumia won the primaries.
The primaries, yeah.
And if you listen to them, Kindia Japon and then Brian Champon are against what is happening. And people are even pointing fingers at them that they are the ones who sponsored the suit in court to try to stop the process.
Oh, this doesn't...
Huh? But I am surprised that a person who said that he did not authorize his lawyers or lawyers to file a suit has come out to say what he's saying. Because for me, if that is true, that lawyer...
professional misconduct. Yeah.
That lawyer must be sent to the General Legal Counsel. You must have instructions from your client before you can file a suit. But if the person whose name is on the suit says that I never authorized anybody, then you, the lawyer, must be in trouble.
In fact, there are two of them, so one of them is the one who has come out to say that.
Yeah, but it's still. Yeah. So I think that the MPP will need prayers.
Just a final point with you, AB. I mean, there are those who say that the NDC, your issues will come shortly, and this is how they explain it. That you also, for the first time, you have a situation where the current president will not be seeking re-election. I mean, unless something very dramatic and unexpected happens. But what will happen is that you now have the floodgates open. I mean, everyone can just pop up and want to contest. And if you look at how the NDC's internal primaries have gone over the period, there hasn't been anyone who has come close to him by way of the votes to select flag bearer. So it's unclear who is the clear favorite. And they are saying that what will happen in your party, unlike the NPP, where you may say that, well, Bamia has a stronger chance because of the performance. You may have a bigger problem on your hand.
Definitely there will be an opening up. But, like he said, it doesn't matter who will bring. What matters now is for President Mahama to deliver. And when he delivers, Ghanaians will say, let's still go for the NDC.
Let me ask.
So it is the president who is currently on the seat, who the NDC is looking up to deliver the next elections for us. It is not about who comes. And you see, coming events cast their shadows. Have you noticed that even though there's going to be an opening, but you don't see so much jostling in the NDC, people are not spewing out anything yet, because we all know that we need to support President Mahama so that our chances can be brighter.
Okay.
That's it.
The UP tradition, were they able to defeat the Nkrumah's tradition? Did they ever? Never. Huh? President Mahama is not Kwame Nkrumah. However, he can become like Kwame Nkrumah. And if he's able to do that, to defeat him and to defeat the party, it's going to be difficult.
And
so they should bear that in mind.
Okay.
And I say this in conclusion, that they need to accept the fact that at a point in time, they destroyed their own party for someone to become president. And so they should rebuild the party. If really they want to be relevant in subsequent elections, they would have to rebuild the party, rebrand the party. If you consider the fact that even their leadership in parliament and the party leadership, if you consider the activities, the way they are pugnacious attitude in parliament and all that, is something that does not resonate with the people, and they would have to change their style. Afenyo should change his style of leadership in parliament.
You said PD what? PDS post what?
Post strongman disintegration syndrome.
Okay.
That is what the party is suffering from.
And to conclude, the last era was the last era. They've come into a new era. They should stop boycotting programs like this and other. They should come. Because
and they should also reduce the press conferences.
Such programs will give people the understanding of where they stand.
They should also reduce the press conferences.
They should change their style.
Okay.
And let Ghanaians see that they would be able to rule this country again, and they are prepared to do things right. Just like we in the CPP are also fighting to be able to put our party back together. But we come to programs.
Okay. And let me greet this young man.
Okay.
You see, remember when the Democracy Hub issue came up, there was a young man who was, I think, going to church or coming from church, who was arrested and put in home for 14 days. Client Kofi Komashi. Killian, I agree to you this morning. Even though he didn't do anything, you had to suffer for no reason.
Okay, so just one more message and we wrap up here. It says, good morning, Blade. The panelist this is from Prince Nana York. You said we are watching keenly NDC. If by the end of 2025, no case, Ghana goes sweet rough, butterfly agenda will be activated because MPP is not the alternative. I'm sure it will be happy.
Of course, that's what a political party is coming to force.
Okay, that's fine. So
to replace MPP.
That is Ebo Bachman, Dr. Ebo Bachman. He is the one who has diagnosed a political party with PDS. And also Kwame Jantua joined us as well. He's a legal practitioner, member of the CPP. And Abraham Amaliba is the Director General of National Road Safety Authority, also a legal practitioner. Earlier we were joined by Dr. James Kwabna Bonfe, Kabila, like you know him to be, also joining us from civil society, former member of the CPP as well. That is it by way of the big issue here. There's a lot more here on the New Day on TV3. Stay tuned in.
I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. And the rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
When we come together, generations connect through love and legacy. In the present stillness, we see echoes of the past and enduring strength, founded on Gassem's unwavering commitment. From generation to generation, Gassem has been a cornerstone in shaping our nation's future.